He's literally Heimerdinger. Oh, that's cool. That's dope. That is dope. I like that. Okay, for the YouTube folks, we just got done watching the trailer. The trailer was amazing. Viktor has a great level up animation. Looks dope. Get a lot of Heimerdinger vibes from him. Okay, so Viktor. We'll start off with Viktor. This is basically Viktor, and there's only one other actual card, but he has different levels of his death ray, it looks like. And I like how they're named Death Ray Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, similar to Heimerdinger's turrets. They're also named Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, all the way up to 8. Mark 8. All right, Viktor. His level 1, he costs 4 mana. He is a 2/4. He has Augment. At the start of every round, you create a Hex Core upgrade in hand. The Hex Core upgrade is a 1 mana slow spell that also has Ephemeral. It grants Viktor a random keyword. The way to level Viktor up is you have to play 8 or more created cards. When he does level up, he keeps Augment. He is a 3/5. And your created card, he has Augment. Your created cards cost 1 less. Round start, create a Hex Core upgrade in hand. Okay. He kind of feels like Iron Man. Yeah, he does kind of feel like Iron Man. He feels fairly unique. I feel like his level 2 isn't like super worth going for, but I don't know. In the past, I feel like I've underestimated cost reduction. If it's only like costing 1 less. Like we think about Mountain Scryer. Mountain Scryers, it doesn't see like a ton of play in Targon decks, mainly because of the requirement, the deck building requirement for that. Like you have to play almost entirely Targon cards. And ideally your deck is 100% Targon cards, so that way you always get Mountain Scryer's Allegiance ability. But like Mountain Scryer's ability to have where Celestial cards cost 1 less, as long as he's in play, is pretty strong. So I might be underestimating the level 2 a little bit. Okay, so Death Ray is a card. Death Ray is an actual card. 1 mana fast spell, deal 1 to a unit, create a Death Ray Mark 2 in the top 3 cards of your deck. And in Viktor's case, you shuffle a Viktor into your deck. Interesting. Interesting. Viktor, Death Ray Mark 2, deal 2. So it's going to deal 1 extra damage and cost 1 more, all the way up to Mark 3. Mark 3 is the max you can go. Pretty cool ping effect for P and Z, actually, if you think about it. I don't know if Death Ray is going to be like a staple card to be ran. I think some P and Z decks will try to run it. But I'm glad that PNZ is getting a 1 mana 1 damage spell that's fast. So that way they don't have to rely on stuff like Thermo Beam for 1. That's like worst case scenario. But like before this, it was Mystic Shot, right? Mystic Shot would be the way you would ping units. And that was 2 mana, deal 2 damage. So I'm glad Death Ray is in the game for PNZ now, to where they can just run this as a ping effect if they want it. Because the only other card that could actually ping was Static Shock. That deals 1 to 2 units and you draw a card, but that costs 4 mana. Thankfully, he doesn't have to see created cards played. Not getting the Targ treatment. True. That's true. You just need to play 8 or more created cards. You don't have to play Viktor, keep Viktor alive. Like so many cards in the champions in this game. I actually hate it. I mean, I get it. Like, not all champions should not have to be in play in order to level up. Like, not every champion can get that treatment, but it is nice that Viktor doesn't need to be in play to flip. That is cool. Viktor Ez is a nightmare? Possibly, yeah. Possibly. Who else could we pair Viktor with? Speaking of that, we have Viktor as Viktor Draven. Basically anything that creates cards. Maybe Heimerdinger too. Maybe you could do Viktor Heimer. The thing is, like, Vi pairs so well with Heimerdinger. Like, it's hard to just pull Vi out of a Heimerdinger deck because she helps you stabilize really, really well. Like, Viktor maybe can do that, but Viktor doesn't have tough. For one, that's the big thing. He doesn't have tough. But maybe. Yeah, I think Viktor Ezreal, Viktor Heimerdinger, maybe. Possibly Viktor Draven. Meme around with Karma, fling death rays everywhere. Yeah, Viktor Karma, potentially. So death ray increases in power all the way up to Mark 3. 3 mana, deal 3 to a unit. I think this is pretty good. It feels like not super, super high impact, but but I like it. I like the concept of it. It has a similar feeling to Avaros Entrapper from Freljord, where it's the 3 mana 3/3 that creates an Enraged Yeti, which is a freaking 1 mana 5/5, but I'm just saying, like, it works in a similar way. I'm not doing a direct comparison of which one is more powerful. Although if you ask me, it would probably be Avaros Entrapper still. But that's because you get a 1 mana 5/5. This is like, you still have to work towards getting up to 3 damage. Viktor does help himself level up too, as well with the whole round start thing, because the Hex Core upgrades a created card. Where's your mushroom support? Hey, he works with mushrooms. He does work with Teemo and the mushroom package. There's a lot of cards that that Viktor could work well with. Not just Heimerdinger or Draven or Ezreal. Like, there's so many. A lot of regions actually have at least one card that creates another card. So, although I think Piltover and Zaun has the most out of any region. So, there's also Targon. There is also Targon too. Targon could be interesting. Like I was mentioning yesterday's YouTube video with talking about Augment in general. So, for those that missed that, feel free to go watch that. It's a little plug there. So, Viktor with Invoke. That's probably the thing I'm going to be most interested in trying out. But what champions would pair well with Viktor? What Targon champ do I want to run with Viktor? Is the thing. Not Diana. Maybe Aurelion Sol, possibly. Possibly Leona. Taric, maybe, but Taric kind of feels really out there. 4 HP though, needs protection, just get Spell Shield from Hex Core, easy. Yeah, Heimerdinger might be the best match, potentially. Oh, maybe Viktor replaces Vi. As far as that goes. That's quite possibly, like, it does make the curve a little bit easier, but the problem is, like, with Heimerdinger, usually when you play Heimerdinger, at least in the past, you wanted to have spell mana up to try and protect it. Although Targon, the new Heimerdinger decks with Targon, they kind of don't worry about that as much because they're not running any protection spells that outside of Pale Cascade that would actually protect Heimerdinger. Usually, some of them run Bastion, but Bastion's kind of a tech choice. But the standard list, all they have to protect Heimerdinger is Pale Cascade. They don't really rely on Heimerdinger that much to win. It's just as much about Invoke as it is about Heimer. But Viktor might be able to slot right in. That might be really cool. Potentially Lux? Yeah, maybe. Viktor being able to, like with the Death Rays, they help you spend mana on fairly cheap cards that build up to Lux flipping. So Viktor Lux might be a pretty good thing too. Pairing Lux with PNZ has always been a little weird. Lux Heimerdinger has been a thing in the past. We played Lux Heimerdinger a couple days ago on stream. but it's never been like super top tier. But Lux Victor might be a thing. I've seen Lux Ezreal once or twice, and that's one I've always been interested in, but for different reasons, like the whole strike effects thing. Strike effects actually help Ezreal level up, like single combat concerted strike. So Lux Victor could be a thing, possibly, with the death rays increasing in power, as long as you're able to continue drawing them. Actually, real quick, let's talk about iterative improvement. 2 mana, burst spell, pick a follower, create a copy of it in hand with +1/+1. I like how this is kind of a fading memories type of effect. The Shadow Out 0 mana one that gives you, and you can pick any follower and you get an ephemeral copy in hand. I'm probably more likely to run this than fading memories, potentially, because you can still pick any follower and it doesn't have ephemeral. and it's just I'm you but bigger, basically, once you play the follower that you picked. So most of the time you probably still want to pick your own followers, but once in a while there's like a high value follower that your opponent has and you'll want to pick that, like if it helps you win that matchup. So iterative improvement is definitely interesting. I think it is pretty strong, but only in specific decks. Obviously Viktor, it's obviously like designed to work with Viktor, but I'm just saying in general. All right, let's see. Kind of wanted to look at the cards from yesterday, so let me see if I can pull those up. Okay, so with what we know about Viktor, I wanted to look at these to see, like, do any of these become staple cards now that we know what Viktor does? I think Aftershock is just kind of a generic thing that any PNZ deck can play. It's not specific to Viktor. Hexcore Foundry, someone mentioned in my YouTube comments that Hexcore Foundry is going to be paired with Teemo, which I could see that. I could see that. That doesn't mean it's good, but I could see Teemo. I think Ballistic Bot still seems like the only card that for sure that a Viktor deck would play. Not sure about and I guess Calculated Creations. Maybe you want to try and, yeah, I think the Viktor deck is gonna play Calculated Creations and Ballistic Bot on its own, and and the other burst spell that got played today. What was that called? Iterative Improvement. It's definitely, I think it's definitely gonna play Iterative Improvement. Maybe Calculated Creations, maybe. But also, they both cost 2 mana and are burst spells, so maybe there's competition between the two spells as far as which one gets the slot. But yeah, I think Ballistic Bot and Iterative Improvement definitely get played in a deck that's running Viktor. And then whatever other cards you play with Viktor is going to be dependent on whether or not it'll be dependent on the champion that you're playing, whether it's a champion in the same region, another PNZ champ, so maybe Heimerdinger or Ezreal, or it's going to be dependent on whatever other region you're playing. I can say that if you try Lux, Demacia has the least amount of cards that create cards. I think the only card Demacia has that creates another card is Egghead Researcher, which makes a dragon, and they just got that card. That's a fairly new card. Like, I don't think Demacia was capable of, they had no create anything until that card. So Ionia has a couple of cards I can think of, mainly the cards from, like, if you guys remember Lee Sin, when Lee Sin came out during Rising Tides, all the cards that came out along with Lee Sin, like Scales of the Dragon, Sonic Wave, Retreat, those types of cards that create other cards. Not saying that Viktor's gonna pair with Lee Sin, but Like if you really want to pair him with Ionia for some reason, like, and you really want to support Viktor, then those cards work pretty well with him. Freljord with the Yetis and Elnuks at one point in time, but I don't know. Elnuks probably aren't good enough, even with Viktor. So you probably want to do like Yetis or Poros or that. I think if you go Freljord, that's when you start getting like really wacky, like super jank ideas. What else? So we have PNZ itself, we have Freljord, we have Ionia possibly, Targon, the one I'm interested the most in. Basically, you're gonna pair Viktor with invoke cards, whether that's Aurelion Sol, or maybe you want to do Leona you would probably do to just kind of strengthen your early game. Like the whole Leona Daybreak package, it's always been about that. It's always been used to like support some type of late game win condition. But the weird thing is, I don't know if Viktor is necessarily a late game win condition. Like if I look at Viktor, yeah, it seems like Viktor is more of a support champion. And this is kind of something I want to talk about in a separate video about like how different champions are designed. And at least from like a competitive perspective, like a rank perspective, like it seems like there's, not seems, like I'm 100% sure this is the case, that you have two different types of champions in this game. You have your champions that like are your main champions, like your actual win condition, how you win the game. And then you have other champions that are more support champions that support whatever your main champion is doing, or whatever game plan your deck has, period. So like historically, a main win con is Heimerdinger. It's kind of not been the case as much recently, but I'm just saying, like historically, up until this point, up until recently, it's been Heimerdinger just is a win con on his own. Like you can win the game just with him. And then Vi would be like the support champion. Vi helps you stabilize the board so you don't get too far behind. She'll fight for the board for you. She'll remove units for you. Can Vi win the game as well? Yes, but that's often not what you should be going for. Twisted Fate's another good example of a support champion. If you level up Twisted Fate, can he win the game on his own? Yeah, maybe. A little more often than not, if you really focus your deck on him. But Twisted Fate has often been used more as a support champion in most decks. Like he's just a generally good card that he'll draw you a card, he'll help clear the board for you, he'll stun the strongest thing that you don't want to deal with for that round. So yeah, Viktor Heimer, epitome of team I need protection, cover me champ composition. So is Viktor is actually Heimerdinger's student in lore? Interesting. What would be some bananas cards to play with one cost reduction? Viktor, big stuff, combos, small stuff for free stack, augment power. Yeah, I think this is why I'm so interested in Targon, to be honest. Especially if you flip Viktor, like imagine your celestial cards still costing one less. That's insane. It's literally like you're literally running Mountain Scryer without having to run Mountain Scryer. Oh, he's not Heimer student in lore. Okay, that would have been interesting though. They have very similar. I feel like they have very similar designs. Not exact, obviously. Like Viktor doesn't make turrets, but yeah. I like Viktor. I'm definitely gonna be messing with him when he comes out. But yeah, I think he gets paired. I think Targon has the most potential with Viktor. I know this video's kind of been all over the place, but just jumping back and forth between cards. But yeah, I think Targon has the most potential. Not that other regions don't. And Targon doesn't necessarily mean we pair him with a Targon champion. Like we said, like Viktor Heimerdinger could be a thing, and then maybe you still want to pair him with Targon and invoke cards. So Heimer just tosses Vi out, and Viktor comes in. Yeah, 4-mana 2/4 is kind of, it's kind of a yikes. Because we all know how successful 2-power champions at 4 mana have been in the past, right? Shen was great as a 2/5, right? So was Taric. Or Tarek. I know everyone says Tarek. I feel like I'm the only one that pronounces his name wrong. But I don't know, Taric sounds cooler, so I'm gonna keep saying Taric. And if y'all don't like it, then tough luck. Anyway. Augment can buff his attacks with 4 HP that makes you nervous. Yeah. True. That's true. Yeah, I think I don't know. Would he get buff? It depends. If he doesn't see play the way they want, then yeah, they might buff his health. I don't think they would buff his attack because he's not really meant to be an attacker. He's not like Taric, who gets value when he's in combat. But yeah, I think if I'm kind of pulling back on what I said the first time when I initially looked at Viktor level 2. Viktor level 2 seems worth it, especially if you're in Targon. You want to get Viktor to level up. But yeah, we'll probably need to pair him with ways to maybe permanently buff his health, potentially, or give him barrier, tough, spell shield, something. Targon has some of those. They have Bastion. They have Astral Protection is what it's called, the +4 health thing. I'm not saying that that's what we're gonna play with Viktor and Targon, but I think that's all I have to say. God, the fact that Death Ray just increases in power and then Targon has card draw. How is Viktor not gonna be played in Targon? How? Honestly. There's no way. There's not a Viktor deck with Targon, whether it's Heimer or otherwise. Like I don't see how. There's no way. Look, you get P and Z damage, and then even you get pings. Like you have a spell that pings at fast speed, then you get a Mystic Shot, and then you get a Get Excited that you don't have to discard a card to. Mono PNZ Viktor? I'm not sure, because the problem with it is that the reason to go mono is for the allegiance cards, and PNZ's allegiance card is kind of doesn't fit in a Viktor deck. I feel like, I don't know, like maybe it's good. It's some type scavenger. It grants elusive. You can grant elusive to something permanently. Oh no, you get you create a Sumpworks map. I mean, it creates a Sumpworks map, and then the Sumpworks map grants elusive permanently. Maybe actually. I don't know, I feel like it's just better to pair it with just pair it with another region that is pretty good at creating cards on its own, creating additional cards to put in your hand. So like Noxus doesn't have a lot, but they have Draven at least. I don't know. We'll see. Also, we need to think about there's 2 other champions that haven't been revealed yet either. So we have to consider that. Maybe one of those ends up working with Viktor really well, because that's what happened last time with Tahm Kench, and then they showed Soraka, and it turned out Soraka works very well with Tahm Kench. Although I don't think Soraka's the only champ that works well with Tahm Kench, but she seems like she's the best champion, seemingly. But play Viktor Heimer getting by Tom spam Sag emote. True. Tom just eats you. All right. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. I think it's Targon, but we'll wait and see what the other champions do once they get revealed. But I am almost positive he gets paired with Targon in some way. Like, I think there's almost no way Targon Viktor isn't the best deck. But you never know. Depends on the meta, etc., etc. Okay. For the YouTube folks, if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you don't want to miss future videos from me, subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Hit that notification bell below the video. That way you don't miss any videos when they go up. Because just because you subscribe doesn't mean you're going to see my videos. And that's like true for any YouTuber. And yeah. Share it around too. I know some people, they want me to grow and get bigger, etc., etc. My phone. People talk about I'm underrated, etc. Well, if you share the video and not just like it, but share it around, show other people the content, that gets the word out, and that's another way that I grow. But yeah. All right, we done. We're gonna play some Runeterra now. See you guys next time.